Severe learning difficulties affect around 350,000 people in the UK alone. With support services continuing to be underfunded, people with learning difficulties are relying ever more from family support for guidance. So what support services are out there? How much will they cost? And what happens if you can't afford them? Welcome to Impact, the show addressing topical issues for young adults.
In today's show, we'll be looking at the challenges facing someone with learning difficulties moving from school into the workplace.
To discuss these issues, we've come to the University Sports Centre to see CADMuS, a group that offers sporting activities for people with learning difficulties. So Stephen, would you be able to just say a bit about the setup you've got going here? Do you rotate round or?
We don't rotate round, no. One of the things about people with learning difficulties and sometimes people in the autistic spectrum is they have a quite short span of attention. So they might just try a little bit of something and then they'll get bored with that and then they want to go and try something else. So we just set up different activities and give people the options.
How would you say you would help people with, say, learning disabilities?
So what we try to do is be patient. I mean, one of the single biggest thing you have to do with someone with learning difficulties is you have to be slow and systematic, because essentially the only difference is that they're processing information at a different rate to us, to people who are neurotypical.
Rebecca was always someone who was very determined and very outgoing.
So when did you actually realise she had a learning difficulty?
Well, Rebecca has Down syndrome, and within an hour of her being born, then they recognised some of the signs that she might have Down syndrome. There's a blood test, and so about 5 days after we were called back and they broke the news to her that she definitely had been positive on the blood test and she did have Down syndrome. Becca's development started to diverge from other children only when she was about 12 months old.
Did she go to a different kind of school or?
She started off in a mainstream nursery, but a mainstream nursery that had a number of places reserved for children with special needs.
It's clear that an experience through the education system is different for those with a learning difficulty. In Rebecca's case, her education is still ongoing. What are the goals that you have for Rebecca in her life?
Number one, sounds trite, but just be happy. We are looking at a model which is quite common in this area. Either the parents club together if they have the money, or they get some charitable help and you buy a 4-bedroom house and put 3 people with learning difficulties in it, and the 4th bedroom is for the care worker who stays overnight. We are hopeful that we may find a job for her, particularly in a kitchen, just preparing the food. I think she could do a good job.
This isn't just a problem that some individuals face, it's happening across the country. So what are some of the options that people can take?
Worryingly, 94% of adults receiving long-term support are unemployed. And even worse, this percentage is not decreasing. At this point, your options are to live on benefits and financial help, find work, or, in some rare cases, start your own business. There are many local groups and charities that will support you through this process. Some even offer work placement schemes.
I am George. I've been here since about 4 years now. I do sometimes feed the goats, the pigs and ducks and chickens.
Ah, cool. And what's your favourite animal?
Pigs.
I think they're my favourite as well.
I do have to stay with the animals all the time, but I look after them.
So you just looked after them more and more and you got better and better at it, like practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
So Monday to Friday we are a learning disability programme, but the farm shop remains a business 7 days a week.
You know, you speak of the co-workers. Do you hire them, or are they volunteers, or?
Our co-workers are mainly paid placements for people that have learning disabilities.
So what's the next step into after Darwin, and what are the problems that they face through this?
The next step in hopefully would be that they could take their skills and move on, but the moving on option is quite complicated. We do have people here that have moved on into charity shops that work part-time. The thought of actually someone moving into paid work is very, very complicated, and should they have the skills to be given a job, you could lose lots of benefit, because lots of our guys are on specific benefits to their individual needs with learning disabilities and mental health issues. So it's a very, very big step.
If you are one of the lucky few to find work, you consequently lose some of your benefit funding. Though this does make sense, from the perspective of someone with a learning difficulty, you can't control your working hours, work environments are usually inconsistent with a lack of support, and you are limited to what jobs you can apply for depending on your difficulty. So with all that in mind, many people choose to stay on benefits and work placement schemes. I'm here at the studio with Toby, who has a learning difficulty. He's been working at the Prospects Trust since leaving college. The Prospects Trust is a similar organisation to that of Darwin Nurseries. Thanks for joining us today. Can you tell us about your learning difficulty?
Sometimes struggle with value of coins and that. I look at a coin, I go, I don't know the value of that coin.
Right.
I look at it and I go, I'm not sure. It's just, but it doesn't happen all the time, but it sometimes happens.
Is there anyone offering advice at school about how to proceed after?
The teachers there, they give me lots of advice, what to do, when I leave college.
Would you say the support was equal at school, or was it different? Or?
I'd say it's a bit different to school. When I left school, I didn't know what opportunities were waiting out there.
Right, yeah.
And what opportunity will come my way. There isn't that much opportunity these days. You find some work experience, you go to it, and you just take each day as it comes, really. Take each day as it comes.
Thanks for coming in today, Toby, and I hope it all works out.
So we've seen all the great work done by local charities and groups. However, 90% of adults with learning difficulties are still unemployed.
With limited funding and government support, no wonder there's increasing pressure on parents and families to support them through the transition from school to work. Thank you for watching. This has been Impact.